think about it. I want the...
But here's the thing, I don't actually know how these teams look right now. Guys, ask me after this. Ask me after this. I like more. I just think this game more.
Imagine being... Let's send it to casters. Cast this game number.
Thank you, Tsunami. We got ourselves yet another SCA versus NA game, but unlike EG and TNC, these two teams are the only teams remaining in the tournament that we did not see in the group stage or the wild card. I'm here with OD Pixel. We haven't seen much from these guys yet. What do you think we're going to see in this game?
I think we're going to get a lot of action, Brian. We're going to get a lot of action, and also sort of the clash of two different approaches, as it seems to me. You know, from Quincy Crew, we very much have this group up and go. You know, their 5-man, their ability to run down lanes, to just brute force take fights is going to be rather strong in the mid game. Whereas with T1, I'm seeing a lot of sort of split push. You know, play the map, protect towers, whilst 23 Savage becomes this big badass carry to bring them through in the late game. I mean, how do you think this is going to sort of meet together here between the two of them, Brian, and what do you like?
Well, Quincy Crew, quite frankly, I don't think showed us what they're capable of in their first series against No Ping. We saw some glimpses of what they want to do, but they were just a tad bit sloppy. So today I'm looking for them to be clean with this early group up lineup that's going to snowball and early momentum in the laning phase. And then T1 on the other side kind of just stomped both of their games against Aster. So I don't feel like I got to see much of their mid to late game decision making at all. And this time they've got the Spectre against the Luna matchup. So it's going to be a battle of hold the door for T1.
Absolutely, and as I say, they've got great means to do it. Cuckoo coming in with this profit to end the draft up. You know, he's going to be putting some insane map pressure on, and he's going to have backup to do it. You can imagine Carl, he gets an early mobility item online. He's going to be the man jumping in, leading the charge, starting the fights. Whitemon, once he's got the 6, he'll have that damage to really add up into those plays that they'll look for across the map in that mid stage of it all. But we'll see how we get the lanes matching up. Of course, down on the bottom, 23 Savage, he's going to be laying into the Leslau Tide and the MSS Enchantress. We'll have the backup of Whitemon. I mean, for the Spectre, is this a happy place for 23 Savage against these two, or is he going to feel some pain against Quincy Crew?
Yeah, it's not exactly a kill lane, but they do have a lot of constant harass. As you already see, they're spamming the spells to start, both going for the trade spell rather than potentially the enchant plus the gush. And that's an understanding that Spectre, you don't really have to worry about her killing you, but she's also tanky herself, so wear and tear is the name of the game.
And meanwhile, of course, over on the top half of the map, Cuckoo and Zephyr putting the pressure onto Yua's Luna. Back of Veloé here on his Wyvern. What do you make of this one in comparison? You know, how hard is the early game here for Luna?
Yeah, it looks like they're cutting down all the trees, but he's giving them the body, the Treant Protector. It looked like on paper it'd be an easy lane, but melee hero plus Nature's Prophet, as a carry player, that's one of my worst nightmares when I think of a lane.
For sure, yeah. Just having something right in your face, and Cuckoo being able to offer in the punches, and we see Yuwa, and they're doing on the regen and lane. They have got plenty on. We've seen Eloy's come to lane with 5 tangos and a Sao, so he's going to have all the means to keep Yuwa nicely topped up in that top lane. Of course, this is all going on in the mid matchup right now. 7 for 3 on Carl. Quinn was seeing 6 for 0, so Carl having that extra edge to the melee here to get a few denies against Quinn. But Quinn doing his best to really exercise the pressure onto this DK. Carl has got the regen as much as he can to really just shove the lane in, get it pushed underneath Carl's tower.
Yeah, I feel like the entire meta is now getting shaped by DK. Mid laners such as Death Prophet weren't seeing much play earlier on in this tournament, but because you need a hero that matches or even bullies the DK away from this tower pressure, Death Prophet's a perfect example of such, and because the popular heroes always shape the meta, I expect to be seeing even more of this hero moving forward.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and in this matchup as well, when you see these two mids, I imagine it's going to be incredibly static because, as expected, once the 6 is there, both are going to be eyeing up that opportunity for an early tier 1 tower. I mean, who does have the sort of the bigger tier 1 tower potential out of those two? Actually, meanwhile, top lane Yuwa, is going to be right here. It will only just though. We'll have the south passed over, but yeah, mid-wise, who can put on the most pressure the soonest out of these two?
I think these guys are kind of at a stalemate in terms of no one can bully the other away single-handedly. So it's going to come down to the early rotations. You have the Nature's Prophet off lane, one of the few cores that doesn't mind being in a different lane early on because he can just TP right back to his own respective lane. But the Enchantress, it's all in on the towers for Quincy Crew because they're dealing with the Tramp Protector. You can't afford to let him living armor those up. But for Carl, I'm expecting maybe 2 DK forms to add up to take down the mid tower for Quincy Crew.
No, for sure. For sure. And we see so far, you know, that 2 carries, it is the moment. You are definitely having the slightly tougher time. A 10 for 2 as opposed to the 16 and 3 that Savage is being able to get out of the bottom lane. Farm for the off lane is very equal though. Leslau and Cuckoo having just an equal farm out of the lane. It's just that mid lane really where we're seeing the biggest difference. Carl just continuing to give himself about a full wave of CS ahead of Quinn with a fair few denies thrown in there. And
yeah, purely based on the CS so far, I think Quincy Crew is not exactly going to be content in the near future. Maybe 3-4 minutes from now, they're going to have to ramp up the pace of this game because Spectre, if given the time, will reign the queen of the late game.
Yeah, I mean, that's in any game like this, if 22 Savage just continue to get away with a good opening, solid mid-game, what is actually going to be there to threaten him later on? Like what are the sort of the things that he's going to have to play around in the later stages, or is there just not really much at all? Is this a pretty good-looking Spectre game overall, even though the Spectre obviously was shown a little earlier in the draft?
I think it's just going to be the cooldown is what they're going to be able to punish. The fact that, yes, you have low cooldown heroes like the Nature's Prophet, but I think Quincy Crew can maybe even stagger their ultimate usage such that they can force out haunts and then look to take objectives. So rather than maybe countering the Spectre directly late game, because I don't think they have that, they can look to hit specific windows of weakness with the Spectre.
Just what I've been.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Well, I mean, and doing that though, it definitely feels like it's not going to be too easy. Was in bottom lane trying to get aggressive in onto Whitemon. They've got the center underneath the tower. They'll chase him down. They'll get the first blood here. MSS and Leslau themselves a kill out of this bottom lane as Savage isn't easy. Top lane at the same time. You are continuing to just be bullied away, ready hitting the creeps here as Cuckoo continues to send the treants in upon him. Try and mess with the ball near top.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been watching too much of the tournament and you're curious as to why this Enchantress is getting picked up first pick, that is exactly why. We just got done seeing MSS pressure the mid lane, didn't quite get in position with the Centaur, but you saw the threat that he was putting on the DK and immediately rotating to the bottom to get a kill on the support. And as long as he's missing in the enemy jungle, he's got all the ward vision that he needs. He can be a threat on both these lanes at once, and it just changes the way everyone has to play, and he has complete, like, nobody wants to be here. None of the supports can contest him directly. Quinn might be able to pop Exorcism. Let's see.
And they're going to have a bit of an attempt here. Carly's going to pop the Dragonfall and immediately TP's away as soon as the Exorcism comes out. Same for Whitemon. They do want to deal with Quinn whilst the ult's up. He's going to swing over towards the mid on the DP, but Zephyr's here to help try and push Quinn away. He's not having a lot of luck with it, though, because the damage between the two of them here, it's going to be one more hit. Can he quite get it out of the way? He can't. Zephyr back into the trees. Zephyr will be able to sneak away and does manage to survive. So all things said and done there, T1 able to very much limit what Quinn's able to do here with this Exorcism, as they managed to successfully disengage. And Quinn is rather low. Whitemon won't find him though, and of course the skill build does indeed have the points of the Shredder, nothing in the blast, so it doesn't have the nuke damage to threaten Quinn. Still though, Quinn's going to have to back off, and that first round of the Exorcism, nothing's going to pay out. I think the kill is there down bottom as Leslau and MSS. I mean, again, MSS here on this Enchantress, definitely putting that extra pressure in onto this bottom lane. First 2 kills both going down to his involvement.
Yeah, as long as you're full health on the offlaner against the Spectre, you're going to be able to be aggressive with virtually no items, especially when you have an Enchantress. I think Leslau has learned very well from the mistakes of other people this tournament that you go that early ring of health, you're just staying up, 23 Savage constantly being pressured. I think that's a sum of multiple points of pressure that all added up into that one death.
Absolutely, and yeah, now with the level 6, as you say, that ring, it's very hard to pressure Leslau out of lane. The Raw Zephyr downer as well.
Dire are scanning.
They are able to make anything happen. I mean, if they do, Leslau, like you said, not quite having the mana to threaten a Ravage. 3 heroes down. I mean, can they do anything about the tide? They're looking for it. They're going to start having a bit of a poke. It's hard. He's pretty tanky. They'll get him in the trees now. Okay, there we have it. That was what was missing. The extra bit of damage boost here from Cuckoo. Cuckoo's able to throw in a Nature's Wrath, and that will get the job done. As T1 are able to bring together the damage to get Leslie out the lane and get 23 Savage a bit more space down here.
Dire's
Yeah, I think Nature's Prophet helps round off the draft for T1, but you see here, LOA, he's perfectly content being underneath tower, soaking up the XP and also clearing the trees, getting himself a decent amount of farm, and this is what they have to do on T1. You cannot allow the opponent 5 position to relieve that much pressure, but Quincy Crew, in return, MSS already rotating the mid, the Wildkin creep giving the aura to their other creeps, and they should be able to get a trade here. Doesn't seem like T1 wants to respond.
Radiant's middle tower.
This is it seems like a very early sort of tier 1 tower to just let go. You know, you don't usually see teams sort of just concede their tier 1 as freely as is being done so by T1 in this situation. But yeah, indeed, the mid tower taken out there. Big objective for Quincy Crew. Bottom lane, T1, they've got that focus on trying to take Leslie out again. This time round, LOA comes in with the backup. And 23 Savage, he's going to go for the TP out. Leslie doesn't have vision, so won't know for the Ravage. 23 Savage is able to reset himself over towards the mid lane, look for the farm. Got Quinn and MSS wrapping around top. They're on the hunt for Cuckoo here. Do have the ensnare from on the Dark Troll Summoner to help trap him.
Wait up.
Cuckoo do his best job to escape. They should have the man here. I don't think he's going to have too many options for a TP out, and he doesn't indeed. Tries for a TP, but with the ensnare there from MSS, there's no escape for Cuckoo.
Yeah, I can't tell if that was a miss micro or just a sick courier foresight by MSS to fly that over the Sprout for the vision to use the troll net. That was pretty sick. I'm going to assume it was the latter, just because I do have respect for him as a highly skilled player.
Was, yeah.
But, that's pretty crazy. That's the little things where, isn't he busy microing the creep? I would be.
No, that's some big brain stuff there from MSS for sure. Absolutely, very impressive stuff here. As it's showing on his KDA, 201 MSS causing a lot of havoc. And we'll catch him here with a TP. He's going to do his best to escape this. He's able to get the slow off on Carl. Got the dagger coming in. I mean, MSS, he's just making the space here. He's got pretty much 3 cores looking towards him. We'll go for the TP out. Carl will be able to put a stop to it. His MSS will get burnt to a crisp here. Like Carl with the breathe fire. They finally get rid of that Enchantress that's causing so many issues across the map for T1.
And bottom tower now, they are busy top, as you said, space made. A lot of times we'd be memeing about that, but yeah, that's the whole idea of space. Distraction on the opposite side of the map, and this is against a Treant Protector who's elected to not put a single point in living armor. I was under the impression the point of his hero was to slow down the Death Prophet Luna momentum, but he's mainly going for the wave clear and laning presence of the Leech Seed.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, we'll see if he does just therefore continues to max out those two skills, or if he does fancy to take a point. But I mean, maybe they just feel that they just, against this push of Quincy Crew, these towers are going to go down nevertheless. So, yeah, and they certainly are. You already see these 2 tier 1 towers taken away. T1, they're not too far behind though on the objectives. Of course, top tower's been taken, the mid tower sitting rather low, so Carl's able to get another push through. Once the Outer Dragon forms back up, he should be able to secure that mid tower. 1300 dagger towards the blink on the DK. See over on the side of Quincy Crew. Quinn very close to having his Scepter. T1, they have got the 6 on White Mom. They do have that damage potential to be able to burst some of these heroes. Become rather tanky later on. On the net worth we see farming away quite happily. Yawar up there. I mean, all 3 cores of Quincy Crew currently sitting in that top spot. As definitely still a bit of a catch-up game that T1's got to pull together. You know, Quincy Crew 3k lead at the moment, 12 minutes in. But at the same time, I guess this is the sort of lead that Quincy Crew's lineup kind of needs to secure, because they do want to play a little bit faster.
Yeah, absolutely. As it's basically 4 Protect 1, where Luna is supposed to hit this ridiculously absurd timing around 20 minutes where she's going to have 2 full items because she farms so fast. And if you think about the playmaking potential for T1, it's just not straightforward until the DK blink. And even then, you're going to have MSS Enchantress on your side of the map that you are most likely going to have to avoid somehow when you're smoking, as well as the Leslau Tidehunter. It's just really difficult as long as Quincy Crew remains positioned properly on the map for them to get the target they're going for.
Smoke up from Quincy Crew. Quinn. On the way. They're on the hunt for one of these calls. Good try. Holding in onto the DK. They've got the Cypher going. Starts coming in with the slow of the gush. Carl, he's not got any way out of this one. The force around him. Carl ticking out in the mid as Quincy Crew catch him out. And continue to be able to push back that blink dagger timing here on the DK.
Yeah, this is the Quincy Crew I wanted to see the other day. How they are. This is the game plan that they have perfected over the course of many years. Usually Yawar's on either some hard farming carry, or he's on the likes of a Drow or a Luna, where they're not aiming to go for very much longer with this farming period of the game, but they're happy to just make these little kill plays, grouping up temporarily, but they're not expending any ultimates, and they're going to go back to playing the efficiency game in little duos of pressure, as you're seeing here.
MSS and Quinn, they're able to catch out Cuckoo. They really are just continuing to take anything. You've got to be so careful if you're T1 playing against Quincy Crew. Any sort of slip-ups and they're immediately on top of you.
Yeah, we're gonna know when this is ending based on Yawar's queued up items here. He's not going for the full Manta. At least he doesn't plan to as of yet. He has the Yasha, then BKB planned out. So that I would guesstimate that is about the 20-minute mark that he'll get both of those items. That'll most likely be a smoke into a Roche with the next Death Prophet ultimate, into an Aegis that takes all the outer tier towers, maybe a lane of Rax. That's the game plan, the Quincy Crew. They will be content if that is what the pace of the game looks like in the next 6 minutes.
I do like the attempts there from Cuckoo to try and disrupt Yawar's farming. We did see he was leaving sort of the treants scattered around the camps, trying to block some of the spawns, and was able to take away sort of around the triangle there from Yawar. So find his best to slow that farm down. See the jump hit to reveal themselves onto MSS. Damage at the kisses. They will be able to take him out. As T1 get the kill, but again, you know, MSS definitely not the highest of priorities. As much as an issue he was causing them, it isn't one of those big old cores. You know, T1, ideally, they want to find more than just an Enchantress.
Yeah, he did block the Ancients there with a Treant, so even though they did position perfectly on the map from Quincy Crew, as we talked about, that's why NA loves our Enchantresses and Abaddons, because while we're farming, we need that support to tank the gank for us, and they did that properly, but that gank is tanked so that Yawar can farm the Ancients from the 15 to 16 minute mark. All the big camp as well as the Ancients were blocked, so I think this is going to make them feel the need to, hey, we got nothing else better to do, let's go now rather than later. And the Roche map control part's going to be a bit earlier than I expected, and that means that the BKB is going to be as a result of the lead that they gained during the Aegis farming period.
They go for a steal at T1. They've got their eyes on it. 23 Savage is ready to head in. No, okay, he decides against it at the last moment there. Doesn't want to throw away his life at a chance of going for the steal. Quincy Crew, they get the space, they'll get the kill. Yawar's going to be able to pick up the Aegis. DD rune as well. Quinn's just going to take it here for a quick bottle refill. Quincy Crew continue to amp up this expected group up and go that they've drafted for. Overall, 3K, you know, that 3K's been there for a while. The T1, they are keeping themselves at a steady pace behind, and they're not slipping any further behind that of Quincy Crew. Whiteman will get caught out, but 23 Savage cleaning up these Ancients is closing the gap on the Spectre, and if T1 can sort of weather through a few fights against Quincy Crew, get themselves on top of an opportunity, there's still absolutely a world where this Spectre becomes a big sort of late game terror here for Quincy Crew.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about how many fights a team needs to come back into the game. I think this is a game where they only need one fight, but it is going to be incredibly difficult to get that one fight because they have severe damage issues on the side of T1. If you look at their cores, they have Spectre, DK, Nature's Prophet, none of which are super well known for doing damage. And then Quincy Crew has double healing supports and 3 super tanky cores once the Luna gets that BKB. So I'm not too optimistic for their chances here, but if they can catch Quincy Crew a little off guard, that will blow this game wide open for them.
Savage there, living on the right on the edge there as he walked down that lane. Not quite able to get the grab on him though. Quincy Crew, as 23 Savage does keep to the side. Quincy Crew just completely grouped up around this area. T1 are very careful how they approach and how they sort of step out on the map. Carl just trying to find himself some space at the top. BKB neck starts the blink. Savage, of course, still just working on that Manta after the Echo Saber. Got a bit of a means to get out against some of this control, some of these silences that they're going to be able to throw out upon him. in the action.
Yeah, I really like the plan that Quincy Crew had coming into this draft. It's just so hard for DK to ever want to blink stun any of these cores, especially the supports even. As nice jules by Quinn.
Radiant's bottom tower
Cuckoo,
is under attack.
no way out of this. Another catch for Quincy Crew.
And you are.
As well. I mean, he's just doing it on his own. He's doing it on his own. He don't need any backup down here. I mean, they are just picking up the kills left, right, and center now. Very careful.
This is proof
here from Quincy Crew.
Yeah, this is proof that the NA playstyle works on the international stage. Like for me, I'm watching this game, and this is exactly how I know these guys love to play. And the Aegis allows Yawar on a hero that's not traditionally independent to make plays like that, where if he waits on that hill and he sees 2 or 3 heroes, he's not all that concerned because his team will be able to connect to him by the time he has a second life in a fight that he would be fine to take. And now that lead is extending, and that's what this first Aegis is all about. 2 minutes left.
Say just the ability to be split up as they are across the map. Be showing with the space and farm that they're able to clean up without T1 apparently being able to do too much about it. We see down bottom Carl. The retreat here, you are. Run him down a little bit. Carl's got the backup. And so's you are. Quinn and LOA both in the neighborhood. Fight kicks off. Exorcism and Winter's Curse ready to go. Don't have the Eclipse, but what's going without that? Spells alone should be enough to get some of these kills. Even the
Dire's top
cast
tower
up too far
is under
forward. Carl,
attack.
he's out of it. Doesn't want to get involved
plays.
in the action that the Quincy Crew are bringing. Zephyr trying to slow down the action down.
Yeah, this is a really cool move. As you see DK, you see the mode that T1 is in. DK's even ulting just to clear creep waves with that level 12 splash damage. Nice blink from Carl, and Treant Protector, he would not clear that wave quick enough. Quincy Crew looking to force down objectives. You see the pipe on the Tide, the BKB from both of the other 2 cores. They want to ram it down a lane, and that just dragging the creeps to the side is such a high level play, because if he doesn't do that, that's almost guaranteed to be a tier 2 down.
Oh, Cuckoo. And found him, Quinn. Coming in, leading the way after they come through with the smokers. Cuckoo. There's no saving him. Quincy Crew, what do they want to look for next? Still a tier 1 tower sitting on the top lane. 23 Savage has been pushing out this half of the map, though. So hard to really get things together for a full-on push. And yeah, as we're seeing, as you mentioned, Zephyr, and outside of that, heroes like Cuckoo and heroes like 23 Savage, they're going to constantly be farming aggressively along these lanes. They've got multiple ways to continue to cut creep waves and just mess with any sort of opportunity that Quincy Crew will look towards to utilize their lead that they currently sit at. And we are seeing that, 21 minutes in, 4K lead. I mean, it was 3K about 10 minutes ago, it feels. It's barely changed because of how much T1 is doing to just try and slow down Quincy Crew as much as they can without ever really showing their faces directly in front of Quincy Crew's lineup.
Yeah, we saw TNC win many games playing the split push-esque playstyle that I'm seeing similar out of T1, and we haven't had to see them play this yet, as they had commanding leads in both of their 2 games so far in the major, but this is really good stall by them. They did not get what they wanted out of this Aegis on the side of Quincy Crew. They extended their lead slightly, but not a single tower, at least that I can tell, was taken during that time. And the Spectre, he's got Manta, Echo Saber already, and more items. Once he gets to that Scotty, you have 2 ranged cores that both rely on the healing from their supports. It's going to be crucial.
Bottom lane, Cuckoo. And we'll get the tower. We're going to see the Horde come out. This time around, T1, they're ready to fight. The little was lower. Low's going to be able to hold back the Spectre momentarily here with the Winter's Curse, but he's still going to go down. They'll find him down on the bottom lane. Cuckoo in return will fall as he has no route of escape. With the punch back there from T1. Sure, it's just support for a call, but a trade is a trade. And again, as you say, T1 very much bringing out the very smart approach to how to deal with exactly what Quincy Crew is trying to do. I mean, I guess the question is now, Brian, for Quincy Crew, when you sort of feel the way that T1's playing against you, what do you do? Do you have to amp it up? Is there certain items they have to work towards to make sure that their push is going to come in at a pace that the split push isn't going to be able to contest? Like, what do you do against a team that's playing this smart against you?
So it's potential that they went a little bit too hard on the team fight items, because when you go team fight items, that's under the assumption that you're going to be able to force the fight you want. So items like this blink on Leslau are the start to, you have to be able to start picking people off and forcing them to engage on you.
They're going to get the jump in. Leslau's going to put the Ravage, but why not from the side? He's got the kisses coming in. Quinn going to put the BKB, get out of the side, keep himself healed over the side. When Carl turns his attention over towards Leslau, they bring down the tide. The tide will fall, and T1, they're ready for more. The cookie in, Carl jumps in over onto LOA. LOA's gone. MSS Shawan, Quinn, they've got to back away. They're in onto Quinn. Quinn's going to turn the Eul's top back to DK. He's going to try the TP out. They've got enough damage. They do. That's Quinn gone. It's T1. Their patience and their approach it's just got this game to the point where I don't think Quincy Crew's as far ahead as they kind of needed to be with this five-man push and go. This, you know, losing 3 heroes like that, T1 losing nothing in return, that is the sort of fight that when, you know, T1's the team with the Spectre, you're probably feeling a little concerned if you're Quincy Crew.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, if there were 7 deadly sins in Dota, I believe one of them would be showing your carry on top tier 2 and the rest of your team on bottom tier 2, especially against a lineup with global presence from the Spectre as well as the Nature's Prophet. TNC sees this and shuts that down immediately. Collapse on the bottom lane with 5 heroes ASAP. They get the superior numbers, force out the Ravage. Quinn didn't even want to use his exorcism there, and suddenly things are looking real dire for the Dire.
No doubt about it. Yeah, 23 Savage. Yeah, he's gearing up. He's still a little bit behind that of the farm of Yawar. Catching up as a whole, as a unit here, it's absolutely being done. T1 leveling the board now in terms of net worth difference. We'll see there again this last fight. I mean, they're amping themselves up, they're hyping themselves up, and understandably so. This is just some very smartly calculated Dota here from T1 in response to what Quincy Crew is trying to do against him. Cuckoo even having a bit of a giggle there. As, well, there we have it. Certainly feeling in the moment here, T1. To see themselves in such a happy place here, and I think they know that this 23 Savage Spectre is going to be going to a pretty nice place here. The last few fights they've made. Quincy Crew, they're coming in with a smoke. Another bad fight here from Quincy Crew. It is really going to hurt them. Quincy Crew's got to get something done here.
Yeah, it looks like there was just this period of peace where Quincy Crew was content farming, but you can see how, like, the nature of the pins and needles that they were operating on, because the one time they break formation, T1 just punishes it so hard. You're just waiting for them to eventually capitalize, and because of this loss of momentum, Quincy Crew is going to rely on that second Aegis, and I believe that is going to be their last chance to really close out this game in the timing that they need. They won't be able to end it most likely, but if they can get 1 or 2 lanes of racks, that will kind of mitigate the split push pressure that the Nature's Prophet's putting on, that's constantly forcing them to split up, which is allowing them to also get the superior numbers in these engagements from tier 1, T1.
15 seconds and Roche back up, so Quincy Crew, they'll set up for this one. You can definitely expect T1 will probably want to have something to say about it. 20 seconds until Haunt's back up for Savage. Bottom lane Carl getting away with this tier 2, very close really, I mean about 2/3 of the way pretty much towards the Agony Scepter after the BKB, so he is also going to be quite the threat in the team fights. The start of the Roche now has been scanned out by T1. See if T1 can do anything about it. Cuckoo's going to come in to try and get some vision, but immediately Leslau's in with the blink over the walls, and Cuckoo goes to the BKB and the TP out. The curse is there. LOA able to put the end to the TP escape from Cuckoo. Already done. I mean, this is kind of space away from Roche here. They've got the Ravage. Then gets caught. You want to come in with the BKB, the Eclipse. 23 Savage jumping around the team fight, but he's coming to the Eclipse. He's got to back off. Taking heavy damage here from the ultimate of Yawar. We've got the Eul's control. Savage is going to end up dying. As this ends up a complete catastrophe here for T1. Now what starts was sort of Cuckoo just trying to check out the pit. He could have got out with the BKB, but I guess yeah, they felt they did have to try and fight. They didn't want to just lose Cuckoo like that. But 23 Savage coming in with that Haunt, that hurts big time. It's Quincy Crew, they're back on track. Solid team fight win, the Roshan will be theirs. This is exactly what they needed to try and regain that momentum that they were starting to lose control of.
I thought Cuckoo was just going to force out some ultimates, be willing to sacrifice a BKB charge and a buyback just because Nature's Prophet's so good at rejoining the fight. And I think after he died, he realized, wait a minute, that's just an Exorcism Death Prophet. I do not want to buy back into that, but then T1 decided to commit anyways. I have to believe there's a little bit of miscommunication there. That's the nature of this game. If T1 catches them out of position, Quincy Crew is going to lose all the momentum. However, if they try to fight into Quincy Crew and take the wrong fight, that's what it's going to look like.
For sure. I mean, and now, yeah, looking at some of the items coming up, Yawar is probably going to want to get his Skadi done before they do go for the next push with this Aegis. Over on the mid, Leslau, well, he's stepping right up here for the creeps. He's feeling confident. Whitemon, Carl, Zephyr, and Cuckoo, they'll have something to say about this one. He's very, very tanky, Leslau, with the plate mail and the 5 of inside. Is he going to be tanky enough to buy enough time for the rest of the team to come over? They're heading in, but Leslau will go down. Now, Carl, he's ready to try and look for more. He's over towards LOA. Sentry's been dropped. This Glimmer, his attempted escape is not going to save him whatsoever. As LOA will get left behind, we won't see Quincy Crew throw any more lives away in an attempt to turn this around. T1 able to punch back after it's just a very confident posturing there from Leslau as he sort of steps up to the Radiant high ground on the mid lane.
Yeah, if there's such thing as bluffing in Dota, that's what Leslau was doing there. His whole team was missing, and he says, well, they could all be behind me. T1 doesn't know that, and just assumes that T1 won't have the audacity to go on him, but that's a Ravageless Tide. Even if his entire team was behind them, they could just walk away if they saw the reinforcements. So really good patience by T1 to not overcommit, waiting for Tide to be low enough that they could, and you just got to be careful. I like that kind of play. It's a very SA-esque playstyle from Leslau, but it can get punished if the opponent calls you on it.
Absolutely. The T1 not going to let that one pass in front whatsoever. It's the opportunity completely. Again, starting to swing the game flow back in their favor. Still a lead here for Quincy Crew, but not quite as big as it was once they took that rush. Quincy Crew, they're out with the smoke. They want to make something happen. Yawar's got the Skadi done. Of course, still a good couple of minutes left on the Aegis. Quincy Crew, who can they find? Savage. Gotcha. Not moving over towards the triangle, but as soon as he catches wind of Quincy Crew's presence, he will do his best to not get caught, not get involved. To step back. He's now ready to threaten with the Ravage as well. It's Carl. Carl will show mid. Can they come out onto this DK? Oh, not going to quite be able to get the grab there. Carl is out with the blink before they can get any damage instances upon it.
They do have the catapult, though. That Nature's Prophet would normally clear the creep wave, but that's going to be enough to get the back door lowered.
Something very cautious. Savage immediately heading over to grab the next creep wave. He's going to miss one of them, though. One will still pass through.
That's a clutch fortification, clearing the catapult. They should be able to clear this one creep if they have to. It may be good enough for Quincy Crew to get the tier 2, but you're dealing with living armor, and even if you get that tier 2, you're not getting this tier 3 in lane of Rax from this.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Still just these little things from T1. Slowing down each and every move from Quincy Crew to the maximum.
Yeah, it's so important. Every time they do these things, the Treant Protector bottom, the cutting of the creep wave by 23 Savage there, it's an extra 30 seconds. Creep waves spawn every 30 seconds, and every time you do this maneuver, just buying more and more time, and that's exactly what their lineup needs. Excellent evasive maneuvers by T1. They had that one poorly chosen fight, but aside from that, I can't really point out any mistakes that they've made, and they're still down by 4K, so that speaks to the early presence of Quincy Crew's lineup. And this is a game where when Quincy Crew's up by about 5K at this point, I would consider it dead even.
Absolutely, and no doubt about it. And I think, yeah, I mean, if anything, you know, it just sort of makes you ask more questions. What actually did happen in that moment when that mistake was made around the Roche? Yeah, as you say, you would probably put that down to some sort of miscommunication.
Yeah, usually they talk about how they would take the fight, and then they're not sure if they could take the fight, and then it looks like they're going to take the fight, and then two different people have a different interpretation of whether or not they're supposed to take the fight. It's a pretty hard occurrence to avoid happening, and T1, relatively 23 Savage, newer to the team, could just be something that over time will be hashed out. But either way, the overall macro gameplay of the team, they clearly are on the same page. They're building the right items. Nature's Prophet going for the BKB AC. You can tell that they're itemizing to eventually be able to 5-man against Quincy Crew.
Yeah, no, they really are. But again, you know, that whole sort of last minute play, you know, Zephyr just being on that top half of the map in the trees. So, you know, the whole 5-man of Quincy Crew are sticking together, having to go for him. It's just constantly sort of space created by T1. A lot of time wasted. Quincy Crew furiously struggling to deal with. They want to get action. They're going to look for Cuckoo. The BKB is going to go for the TP out as I mean, I get the vision. But I guess, wait, did they cut the, what, he didn't have vision for the curse, or what happened there?
Yeah, I have to assume he was trying to walk into the trees. I think, does he have the shard on Nature's Prophet? Oh, he does not. I don't know what happened. They cut a tree and somehow couldn't see him, because he would have 100% cursed
yeah,
for core
yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a surefire curse, but yeah, not happening. I guess, yeah, it must have not had the vision, as you say. Must have been just
they know he has no BKB.
Didn't let it. See if they can get him here. They probably will. As Cuckoo, is he going to have any backup? No, they'll let him fall. So they might not have got him bot, but this works out just the better for them anyway. They get the kill and not needing to utilize the ult of the curse.
As we see in this replay, they happen to cut the one tree that nobody was in the line of sight to be able to utilize. What it was? Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I feel like they covered every other tree.
Yeah. Oh well. As I say, yeah, all things happen for a reason, and yeah, they got the kill at the end of the day. They didn't even need the curse. So it works out in some sense here for Quincy Crew, but of course for T1, yeah, they'll tell you that that's just more time and more space, taking a little longer for these little kills. As Quincy Crew, they're constantly sort of sweeping around as this 5-man, but we're just not seeing them get anywhere close to the base of T1 still. It's so hard for them to actually set up for these moves as T1 just continue to stall out to perfection, really.
Yeah, they just have amazing side lane heroes with the Tree and Protector as well as the Nature's Prophet, and even the DK with the Ag's free pathing can pop his ultimate to clear a lot of creep waves, and they can't afford to separate on Quincy Crew. We saw what happened when they did that before, so they're just not able to push out the lanes nearly as efficiently as T1, and even though they got the kill on Cuckoo, because they missed the opportunity in the river, which was pretty close to a maybe desired objective in the tier 2 bottom, they were on their own side of the map, so they spin the entire death timer of Cuckoo, fixing their lanes to get back to the other side.
I mean, it just feels... It's like, what do you do if you're Quincy Crew? They're trying to do so much, and T1's just not letting it happen. We might see them bump into each other here. They're going to get the jump on a 23 Savage, but immediately Savage, he's out with the Hawk, he's off to the side, they can't quite find him. White started to kick him with the kicks. Carl jumps in, gets straight on top of the Wyvern, and that's going to be LOA gone. Now looking over towards MSS, they get the catch on a Cuckoo at the side. Cuckoo tries the TP out, won't make it. The physical damage is there. Now bring Cuckoo down. Carl, Savage, Zephyr, looking towards Lesnar. Lesnar going to pop the Ravage. Carl and 23 already out to the side. Find themselves a second here, Quincy Crew. Can they get anything more than Carl? Even has a bit of a look back in here with the Dragon Tail onto Quinn. Knows that these three, they don't quite have the damage to take him down. Quincy Crew, they get 2 kills. Exorcism is, however, going to come to an end, though, so it's going to be another sort of situation. They got the kills. What can they do objective-wise? In terms of fighting, it's still going on. Zephyr and Carl, they're going to jump onto MSS on the backline. 23 Savage is ready to go again. He's moving in onto the Enchantress. Shawan will do his best to try and push 23 Savage away. Coming against the Luna onto this Spectre. They'll force 23 Savage out the side. 23 Savage is able to break out. Zephyr using the overgrowth. I mean, it just seems like constant distraction. As the bottom lane creeps, they're pushing in. Quincy Crew, they will be able to pick up another kill onto Zephyr, but that time they spent trying to kill Zephyr, it's given time for Whitemon and pretty much Cuckoo to get back in the game. So kills are had, but still objectives, they're not being taken.
Yeah, their primary source of catch is the slows coming out from Leslau. I would like to call him Les Teasy for that last blink on the clip there, that he sat around watching his team chase after people, and maybe they were able to get a core if he hadn't done that. So a little bit unfortunate. Stuff happens, but give him a little tip, friendly tip from the teammates as they're all going to laugh it off. You know, it's just a major. It's going to be fine. They were looking towards the next Roche. It's going to be spawning. They know up right now.
take it down nice and quickly here with Yua's build. Butterfly Scardy, he's got the damage to boot. CT1, they are going to set up to try and contest this. They have struggled the last few times. Quincy Crew actually stepping outside of the he's going to jump straight in onto Quinn. He's going to immediately onto their Prophet, Quinn. Be able to get the use ups, does still have a BKB and a cheese here, Quinn. BKB holds his ground, pops the BKB, exorcism back up in 15 seconds.
He's dead.
All down Savage. That's the Spectre out and down. 23 Savage without the buyback. This is a hard fight now for T1. Quincy Crew, they get more out of this. 5 versus 4.
They have to be careful. They don't know the Spectre.
Sprouted and now back. That's Yellowway getting jumped to the backlines here by Whitemon and Carl. They won't have enough damage to commit upon him. Whitemon, he's going to go for the invis TP out, but they've found Dust is out. They have the Yules ready to go. So they'll cancel the escape of Whitemon, take out the Snapfire. With those 2 kills, Quincy Crew will have the power to head back into the Roshan pit. Should be able to finish this uninterrupted by the other members of T1.
And there's a refresher shard in there. Assuming that's going to go to Les Teasy as he double ravage, one of the scariest late game. They already having a tough time on the side of T1 fighting into the clump with Quincy Crew. They're doing a great job anytime the Haunt comes out of just doing the buddy-buddy system to make sure that none of them get picked off. They even were able to focus the Wyvern as LOA finds it bottom.
Cuckoo's still got the BKB TP, and with the curse already used, they've not got anything else to stop it, so Cuckoo will manage to make the escape.
Maybe a bit of impatience. He wasn't TPing yet on the Nature's Prophet. Could have maybe held that a bit longer.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I want to see the Shadow Blade being
Illusion
picked up
escape
by Cuckoo. I mean, that's always the dream for the carries, isn't it? Right? If you're an agi range carry and you get an Illusion escape, my goodness, stonks are only going to go up now. Lots of money ready to fly in for Yawar. And also something that's very nice as well, I guess, against this sort of constant lane push from T1 now, just having that extra mechanism to sort of be able to shove a lane in back against T1.
Oh, absolutely. Luna's probably the only hero in the game where one illusion can clear multiple creep waves.
Small reward.
They're on the hunt for Zephyr. Again, Zephyr loves this. You know, this is what he lives for. He lives for the space that he's making and for the attention that he's getting here from Quincy Crew.
Look at these items. Blink Force.
Hunting from this time.
And he's all about that mobility.
Sliding all over the place. Yeah, I mean, he's not involved in the action. He just wants to split waves and play this constant sort of Dota, just taking away this ability for Quincy Crew to push in. Quincy Crew, well, they got creep wave down bottom. They've just got, is it one range creep? It's just the one little range creep, but he's going to do enough to take down this backdoor protection. The fortification, but it's going to be a hard-hitting push here from Quincy Crew here. They're getting hooked up as well for that last fight that we saw them able to take, and damage will be done. Finally, Quincy Crew will manage to apply the pressure to the high ground, take the bottom set very quickly. I mean, this is the thing, once you're not able to keep them away from the base, when they actually get to it, with this DP and Luna, they shred through the objectives. Carl to get in on the front lines here with the blink. Holding onto his BKB, they'll turn the spray onto Quinn. There's Lau. The Shiva's guard, Quincy Crew, they just focus the objectives and making sure that they get what they came for, and they will. This is going to be a second set of racks that Quincy Crew are able to take down. They finally break around all the games that T1's trying to play outside and away from their bases. Huge objectives, they're ready to push on for more. They're not going anywhere here, Quincy Crew. Straight over to the tier 4s. They're looking to close this one out. T1, they've got to respond. Got to respond soon. What do we have going on here? There he is, he's ready to jump into the backline. Cuckoo's getting poked at the first round. He's going to come out, they've caught him. They've got the control on the 23 Savage. 23 Savage is trying to run the overgrowth. Will hold them back. Give time to 23 Savage to head out to the side. Whitemon, he's in with the 3-man cook. He turns his blast over towards LOA, but it's not enough damage. LOA, he's got the curse control on the Cuckoo. Cuckoo brought back for this, but Cuckoo, he's going to go down for sure. He put the BKB down the invis. If they got detection, they know Cuckoo will be able to sneak away. Quincy Crew, they're ignoring. They want to end this game. They're back onto the Ancient Yawar, looking to close this game up. If they've got any chance of pushing him away from this T1, Yawar, he's fighting right up until his last breath. They're in with the stuns. Quinn's hitting the Ancient. They're looking to close it in time, and they're able to do so. Quincy Crew, though, close it up.